Alright, today I'm going to describe the structure of the United States' form of government as a compound constitutional republic, including the ideas of federalism, checks and balances, separation of powers, both commerce, elastic and supremacy clauses, popular sovereignty, and limited government. Now, at first you might say, what is a compound constitutional republic? And we will outline each of those here. First, it is a constitutional form of government. At its foundation, there is a document called the Constitution that is the supreme law of the land, written document, and any other laws that might be created to affect how the nation runs cannot be contrary to that Constitution in any way. If they are immediately null and void. They are of no effect. They cannot take effect. The foundation of this Constitution is the idea of popular sovereignty, in essence that the people have the power in the government. However, how that popular sovereignty plays out is based a lot on the idea of federalism, which was a big deal back in the late 1700s when this was written. And it kind of outlines how people can use that power. So the United States is, as we defined, a compound of two different political entities. There's a federal, or the national, the nation as a whole, and there are smaller portions of that nation that are their own governing bodies called states. So how the people exercise their power is they elect representatives, and those representatives are the people that exercise the power that the people have. So that poses problems, though, in the shape of tyranny, right? These elected officials could use the power that the people have delegated to them poorly. So there are several things that prevent that. First off, states are in charge of what affects their local welfare. Unless it affects the welfare and needs of the nation as a whole, they are left to govern on their own, and that allows a little bit more of a locality, right? A smaller, you could say, government. Now, the federal government does still have power, and it's been given very specific few powers, and there are branches that exist across all the government that helps prevent those powers being overused. So each section of the government, both on the state and the federal level, has three different parts. There's the executive, which is the president on the national level, right? It's a single individual, and the idea behind them is they have the energy. They're an energetic person. They're able to act decisively, and that hence it's one person to defend, to administer the laws that they don't question how they are, and to protect the rights of the people, right? So that is their goal, and hence that they have a power. You'll see that checks and balances the other ones. Now you have the legislative, which is the branch that makes the laws. So they're supposed to be deliberative, and they're supposed to have wisdom, so they earn the confidence of the people because the people elected them, and now they're making laws that ideally the people would choose, and they're able to conciliate divergent interests, right? So there are different people, obviously their interests are different, they live in different areas, whatever, right? Their job is to make laws that conciliate those. And then you have the judicial, which judges. They have integrity and moderation. They're appointed for life. They don't have limited terms. They don't have to worry about being elected. So they're not loyal at all to popular opinion, only to the Constitution. So here's how it works. The legislative is able to make laws, and you could say, well, that's a little too powerful. They just make all the laws, right? Yeah, they're elected by the people, but then they can do whatever they want. Not quite, because the judicial can then judge whether those laws match the Constitution or not. Remember how the Constitution is supreme? Well, the judicial says, nope, that doesn't match the Constitution. It's not flying. We're not doing it. Okay. The executive can also choose to veto a law and say, no, that goes against my duty to protect the rights of the people, and then the legislative has to go back, and they'd have to push it through a second time. Now, like I said, the federal government has a few distinct powers. One of those, there are two that are very important. Congress has power over interstate commerce, right? So you have these individual states, but they're part of the same nation. When they start doing commerce with each other, federal government has absolute power, right? Neither state can say, well, it's our laws, The federal government steps in and they have power to maintain the integrity of commerce there. And they have what's called the necessary and proper clause, or some people call it the elastic clause, which basically says they have the power to do whatever is necessary to enact the other powers that they're assigned, right? Which is the power over commerce, power to make laws. So, in review, we have this complex government, a compound constitutional republic, compound of federal and state entities. Constitutional in that it is founded on one supreme law document, the Constitution, and a republic. In a democracy, the people have direct power, and they exercise that power. In a republic, the people have the power, and they elect officials to exercise that power. Hence, the United States is a compound constitutional republic.